Hello and welcome to Today in the News on Vanguard Live. I am Precious Chikudi. We begin with the front pages of the papers this morning. Starting off with Vanguard. Vanguard is leading with 287 KADUNA students. Abductors demand a 1 billion naira vow to kill victim in 20 days. The rider says the military vows to rescue school children. Says abduction succeeded because the military was not notified on time. Note school children taken to terrain difficult to access. Explains reason for upsurge in mass abduction. NSCDC working with others to secure release of a KADUNA student, and that's coming from CG. FCT to use drones to track kidnappers, and that's coming from Wiki. 19 northern governors, NSA service chiefs meet on possible review of security architecture. On page 13, Benue, armed herdsmen killed 147 in 2 months, and that's coming from ethnic leaders chair. 50 taxes will be reduced to single digits in Lagos, and that's coming from the LIRS chair to buy. And we can see a photo story showing First Lady empowers vulnerable people. Teachers' welfare packages. Government requires a 345 billion naira to pay monthly salaries. You can read more on page 9. Target for Super Eagles is to win World Cup, and that's coming from Okpala. And on page 12, alleged 3.7 trillion naira budget pardon. Atiku joins fray, demands probe. Stories above, damage undersea cable disrupts internet services in Nigeria, African countries. You can read that on page 28. Tinubu to governors, it's time for governance. Let's set aside the political differences. Port Harcourt refinery will deliver petrol in 2 weeks, and that's come from Kiari. Lastly, on the front page of Vanguard, high interest rates risk aversion drives the pension funds to federal government securities. We take a look at the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian is leading with Jackpot or modern slavery, how UK visa system deportation risks silence exploited care workers. You can read that on pages 4 and 5. Federal government seeks a new student loan act, jail term for offenders. KADUNA abductors demand 1 billion naira, threatening to kill victims. A man bags a life jail term for introducing neighbor's daughter to pornography. 2 years after ascension, Olubadan joins ancestors at 81. You can read that on page 2. Retired officers to sue IGP, scribe over a contempt of court order. Akpabio threatened over Ningi suspension as federal government dismisses budget pardon claim. Internet outage cripples a business operation in Nigeria. Others. IPOB rejects ranching in Southeast, urges governors to defy presidential order. We take a look at the Punch newspaper. The Punch is leading with schools attacks. Bandit demands a 1 billion naira for 287 pupils. Issue March 27 deadline. Right, they say the kidnappers called on Tuesday, gave us 20 days to raise ransom, says community leader. Hostages held in difficult location used as human shield to prevent bombardment, and that's come from DHQ. And we can see a photo story showing the president saying politics over, it's time for governance. Tinubu tells governors at Iftar. Nigeria leads as ECOWAS members default on 150 judgment. You can read that on page 41. Many injured, 18 arrested as youths attack Ogun Monarch. Atiku heightens the security in Osun boundary communities. Stories about Facebook, Netflix, Google, others pay 3.2 trillion naira tax, and that's coming from NBS. Lastly, on the front page of the Punch newspaper, Port Harcourt refinery gets 450,000 barrels crude, resumes operation in April. And that's all we can take on the front pages of the papers. Join us after the break. We'll be right back. Alright, welcome back. If you're just joining me still today in the News on Vanguard Live, I am Precious Chikudi. Joining me to talk about some of the stories on the front pages of the papers this morning is Mr. Rotimi Ajayi, former regional editor North, Vanguard Media Limited. It's good to have you join me this morning, sir.
Good morning, Precious. How are you? And good morning to everybody in this studio.
Yeah. Alright, so let's delve in and talk about the main story this morning. And of course, bandits who abducted the 287 school children in Kaduna State have demanded a 1 billion naira ransom to set their captives free, and have also threatened to kill the victims if the ransom is not paid in 20 days. How do you react?
It is lamentable again. I mean, it's been weeks now before. I mean, since children were kidnapped in Kaduna, and then we have all kind of security systems in the country that boasted that within days they were going to get to the root of the matter and get the kidnappers to be arrested and also possibly secure the release of those students. But now it's been weeks running into months. So I mean, nothing has been done. Now the bandits are so courageous now that they are even coming up now to say, hey, come and give us 1 billion naira. I mean, when you look at it, we are still dancing in a cycle of assault in Nigeria, and it is lamentable. This is the time for us to take the hardest decision that can be taken by another time. Break down the security system. I'm talking about the police system, and let us form a new set of police. I mean, both at the state, regional, state, and local government, because the current Nigerian police force is useless to the country entirely. It's serving only as a protective guard to the VIP. It cannot protect ordinary Nigeria. I mean, if in weeks they are not able, their intelligence network cannot bring about the location or whereabouts of these children, they are not outside the country. It means they are not competent enough. And so we don't need them. Why are we spending trillions or billions of naira on them, maintaining them? All they do is just follow VIP around. And then, I mean, it's lamentable. Look at the amount of trauma that those children will have gone through. Look at the trauma to the family, to the parents, to the guardians. I mean, it's something horrendous. Causes pain.
The military also mentioned that bandits now embark on mass abduction to use their victims as human shield in view of a clearance operation. What are your thoughts on this?
It still goes down to what we are talking about here, the methodology of operations of our security people. You see, when you look at our typical security setup, whether it's the police or Nigeria Army, or well, I'm not so conversant about the Nigeria Air Force and the Air Force, the way they operate. But the point is that when you see them, they tend to operate in this siege mentality thing. It appears none of the security services, maybe we can excuse the state security service a little, you understand? They don't rely on intelligence services or intelligence operation or to carry out whatever task they need to carry out. So that's why they are thinking they are using human shield, because they believe that once they have the gun, then they can just go and raid this, and then they have sorted the problem. No. We are in the age of using intelligence operations, intelligence services to run operations. You don't just think because you are carrying AK-47 or you are carrying a bazooka or Uzi, and then you just invade an environment and then you think, okay, fine, the people that you are invading will not do anything. It is a common knowledge now. The bandits are operating like gorillas. That's unorganized army. So what do you expect them to do? You expect them to just set up the machinery in a way that a country is going to raid another country, and so you will be able to move the civilians out of place. No, this is where intelligence comes in. I don't know why we are getting these bad leaders in our security system. If they are talking before, when they come around and they say they do not have machinery to work with, they do not have the resources to work with. The federal government gave you resources, and yet some things they are still not performing. There's a need to put our security system. It's annoying.
Yeah.
Poor children in the hands of bandits for weeks. And look at the story in Biden State. Look at what we are being told. Look at the number of people that have been killed. This is because we are now being provided with situations where that are even trying to gather data or to put data together in a way. And if you see some other country and some other states where data is not being collected, you find out that the figure will go higher than this, and yet we have policemen everywhere, we have the security people, the army everywhere. But let us say that the army people are not able this time to go into this kind of situation. What's happening to the Nigerian police?
Also, the president has warned that against the payment of ransom to criminal elements, and the bandits have issued, 20 days notice. How do you think the government can actually, prevent collateral damage?
Well, I do not see how we can prevent collateral damage in this situation. Years ago, when the chief of the girls were kidnapped, that was nothing they did not say. They adopted this same methodology. Up to today, we've not been able to secure the release of everybody that were kidnapped in those years. So what is different? How are we approaching this situation differently? It is not any different from what happened there, the way police approached it, the way the military or whatever approached it. There is a need for us to change. I've always said it. Nigerian system needs a refreshing. You do not need, we can't continue to be doing things the same way and expect different return. So all this one that the federal government is talking just to try to placate the psychology of the mind of those who are not involved in this case. If a parent, any of the parents of those children now will not even hear what the federal government is saying, you try to give them fake hope. This is the kind of hope that we give to the parents of Chibok girls. And many even died. Some of them are yet to be able to get their daughters back. Several years after, we heard the story of any of those kidnapped ladies that have now turned to wives and their mothers in the arms of their kidnapper.
Do you think we need to outsource our security issues to international agencies?
Well, I do not think that will work in Nigeria, because the Nigerian structure is such that there is no international security agency or firm that we are bringing in that will be able to run Nigerian system. We Nigerians on our own, we are a bunch of indisciplined people. We have been able to enthrone the worship and the love of money above humanity. Immediately we started going on, started imitating what happens in the social media, on online media, and then we are losing the humanity. That's the point. Unless we go back to the original ethos and values that drove our parents. When I'm talking about our parents, I'm talking about our parents' parents, those who did not know what Pentecostal or whatever a new system that we are doing now, what it means. You understand? We were the ones that were living with high ethics, high culture, and high morals. There, your neighbor will interact with you. In fact, it was mandatory for your neighbors to talk to you. If both of you are not talking, the traditional ruler of your community will step in and try to say what is happening between the two families. When you lose that and you are running individualized way or individualized family system or living system, you are losing the fiber of humanity that join everybody together. So if you bring in international community, how do you want them to operate? Let me give you an instance. If some people, just two people get kidnapped and are taken to, I love to use the example of Morocco, but for this purpose I won't use Morocco. Two people get kidnapped and they are taken to places like Moe, you understand, or Ibafo area. What kind of international firm are you bringing in? Let's say you are bringing in policemen from Russia or from the United States. How do they want to understand the terrain of Moe or Ibafo? So it's not going to work. What we can do right now is to go back into our channel and replan the way we want our communities to be. I will come again and I'll keep saying it. Every Sunday, every Sunday, all the churches and mosques and Fridays, okay? All the churches and mosques should abandon this arcade of preaching about heavens and hell. They should begin to talk to our people about how to live quality life that is underscored by culture, by ethics. Because it's wrong to tell people that they are going to want heaven that while they are suffering here on earth. You understand? The same God that you are talking about created other countries that are enjoying, that the people are living well. And now you are subjecting, you are trying to scare your people, you are planting fear into the hearts of your people instead of teaching them how to live together in a community and make their community great. That's the way we can live. If children are no longer respecting their parents, they are not listening to the teaching of their parents just because they fall out on different parameters of life. How do you want the community? How do you want that family to be united? How do you want it to be a family? That's what we need to do. Please, there is no way foreign security agencies can function effectively in Nigeria. They can't.
All right. What ways do you think that the government can actually make insecurity less attractive to new recruits? Because we see and hear bandit demand 40 trillion naira, 1 billion naira, and then it's looking like a very lucrative business.
Sometime on this program we were discussing about how to get our state, our people to overcome the current hardship of the economy. And I do remember I mentioned that if we do not reverse the way we govern in our state, in our local government, we will continue to go in cycle and experience what we are experiencing. You ask the question, how should we expect the federal government to approach this situation and make insecurity attractive? Where if there are two elements from research, psychological research, philosophical research, or sociological, you understand, that govern and determine human behavior. Number one is pain, the other one is pleasure. If a situation continues to give pain, human beings will run away. And if another set of actions or situation gives you pleasure, no matter what you do, human beings will continue to follow that path. So in this situation, if we continue to celebrate money, and money continues to give us glory and pleasure in Nigeria, no matter what you do, whatever it takes to get money will continue to be a form of attraction to any Nigerian. And when you can't have it, and you can easily lay your hand on a gun, on a weapon, you are likely to use it against human being, against your fellow citizen. So when we de-emphasize the value of money in Nigeria, we'll be able to get this done. And how do we go about it today? I want to ask you, why should I be the one to look for all the millions or billions that I would need to build a decent house for myself? Why can't Nigeria have a good mortgage system? That's the question number one. Now, let's commend the Lagos State government. You can see what they are doing in terms of building transport infrastructure. And I want to expect that after this one, they are likely to move towards what we call urban review and urban renewal. You understand? So, other than Lagos, there's no other state in the country that is possibly doing anything. Maybe N1bn tried a little when it was a Kaduna state. You understand? No. If you don't change the way we live in Nigeria, money will continue to be our God. And then once we are running after money, there is no form of value that we're going to have. So insecurity, ransom taking will continue to be a pleasurable thing because it will be generating money. Whether you like it or not, these guys that are demanding 1 billion, if any of the parents are able to raise something like about 780 something or even 500 million and they raise those children, the kidnappers have gone and they will be striving to go to the bank. Please tell me, how many Nigerians can dutifully and decently work and be able to raise about 500 million naira? You understand? within a year? That's the question. So the only way to live and make things unattractive for kidnapping and everything is to change the way we live in Nigeria. Don't allow individuals to be the ones that are looking for means of living every day. You understand? Don't look for your own. In fact, if you don't get food to eat, there should be a social safety network that can make you have food. And this can only happen when we get organized, when you have appropriate data, and you have your houses are numbered and well laid out, so you know who is living where. You understand? This is the way to live. We cannot continue like this. Okay.
All right, let's move ahead and talk about this now. According to reports, all the tiers of government in the country will require at least 345 billion naira monthly to pay the new minimum wage for teachers in public primary and secondary schools, which is stipulated at 150,000 naira per month. But of course, the unfavorable economic situation in the country has, left the government foot dragging on this issue. How do you react on this one?
My reaction is simple. Why it is desirable that we increase the purchasing power of our teachers? I don't believe that throwing money at the problem is the best and the only way to go. I mean, if you increase the salary, our federal government is able to come up with this money, like you have just read, about 150,000 naira per teacher. You understand? Now, when you throw 150,000 naira to a teacher, it doesn't change the quality of life of that teacher. Numerically, there would have been an improvement. Yeah, in recent, maybe a teacher was earning like about 50,000 naira before, and you have 50,000 naira to it becomes 200,000. But nothing has changed in the quality of life of that teacher, because that 200,000 naira will be thrown into an economic situation that is not properly controlled. The teacher is still going to rent a house. The house is being provided by private individual, and there are no laws, there is no regulation that is guiding or preventing the provider of that accommodation of that house from inflating or jacking up the cost of rent. So we found out that in just one person, that teacher that has just paid additional 150,000 naira, they need to look for additional money to even supplement a kind of ridiculous and mischievous hike that the landlords will bring on. That's number one. Number two, those who are selling consumable items, food items in the market, they go to jack up their prices. So the same problem that we had when minimum wage was 18,000 naira or 13,000 naira is the same problem that we're still going to have if we increase it to 200,000 naira per month.
All right, so let's touch on this one now. Atiku Abubakar has demanded a thorough investigation into allegations of 3 trillion naira budget padding in the 2024 budget, and he also faulted the Senate for suspending Senator Ningi, whom he described as a whistleblower. What's your take?
Well, it's good that some Nigerians are talking about appropriate accountability and transparency in our budgeting of financial system. But it's unfortunate that it's coming from somebody like Atiku Abubakar. You understand? Because when you look at the history of budget padding, it didn't start just today. In fact, the language of budget padding, when some of us who are still reporters covering the operations of the federal government in Abuja, started way back under the same Obasanjo Atiku administration. It's unfortunate that he has so many from his voice now to clamor for that. But it's a good thing. It's better late than never. Look at it. All the things we were talking about since money, precious, comes down to money, to financing. This is what we are talking about. It is regrettable and something sad that somebody like Abductors will sit on top or will sit in the head or on top of a Senate that is again taking us back by several years. Abdul by all qualification, is somebody who can qualify as an experienced lawmaker. He was in the National Assembly, I think 2000 and between 1999 or between 2003 and 2007, I guess. I remember, when I was covering National Assembly, he was one of the proficient lawmakers in the House of Representatives then. And so if he came out to reveal that something has happened to the national budget, instead of suspending him, what we should have done is to, okay, fine, call all the committees together, the committee of appropriation, the committee of budget, and then the ways and means committee of both arms of House of Assembly and then the National Assembly, call them together and look at what is happening. Look at it being bandied around from 25 trillion to 28 trillion. That's like about 3 trillion. When you bring that thing down, you understand, that is enough, you understand, enough for Nigerians to turn around our rail transportation system. That is enough for us to turn around our health system or to turn around our educational system if properly supervised and the same corruption does not go down the line to the vice chancellor, to the lecturer in the department, to the lecturer in the lecture room, or even to the student that is going to be taught. You understand? Because as it is now, we cannot point finger at anybody in Nigeria that this one is the saint, this one is the sinner. You understand? Yes, it is good. They are padding budget at National Assembly. But the budget padding cycle goes all the way to our family. You understand? Including pastors and mosques. And imams. You understand? Because when you ask them to do something, they go ahead and pad it in a way or the other. I just mentioned to you what will happen if we give 150,000 naira additional money to teachers. The landlord there is going to pad his own rent. The same thing will happen when I selling tomato by the roadside. Padding will happen. The transport person will pad his own cost of transportation. So we live in the age of financial padding. You understand? The other time when we were reading Mr. and Mrs. One of our provisions cartoonist was talking about what was going on between a man and his wife. You can see padding at the family unit. We are no longer teaching culture that will put humanity first. It is money. So it's good that Atiku is talking. You understand? More Nigerians should talk. Indeed, the allegation of padding is enough for any of the members of the National Assembly to even resign at the moment. Or if they resign, who are the people that are coming in? Are there any saints? No. That's why people don't resign in Nigeria. In front of us, their families will abuse them if they should resign. It's unfortunate that the situation find ourselves. Media has done what it needs to do. It has told Nigerians that okay, fine, something is wrong with your budget. If the president alone is the only one that is sincere in government and he also run a transparent and accountable government, he's not going to succeed unless those who are supporting him have the same vision, the same ideology, the same philosophy. It's good that Atiku is talking, more people should talk.
All right, let's move over to Mr. and Mrs. And Mr. is speaking this morning, says, you want 30,000 naira to prepare that meal. How about that's too much? Do you want to kill me? And Mrs. replies and says, the one you ate was prepared with my money. Did I die?
Did you just say when we were talking about money? You understand?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I mean, even at family level, even though we are talking about comic relief in a cartoon, you find out what is happening at the family level. This might look like a fictional comic being put up there. But if you go to many families, that's exactly the way things are. You understand? Relationships now are predicated on who is putting what down. No longer humanity. God will do this when either of the two couples, or either of the couples will not have anything to do at all, and yes, they will be living together in harmony. Things will work properly. I mean, but now the first thing that will be considered is, oh, the guy is working in a bank, he's working in a telecommunication company, he's working he's earning good money. Oh man, I'm going to marry him. That's exactly what we consider now. Oh, the lady is working well, she has a car, she has a house. So, I mean, I cannot marry a Roma. I'm going to marry Miriam or Cynthia. That is exactly the way we are living now. If we don't change the system, I've said it, in another 10 years, we'll suddenly discover that everybody in Nigeria has been sold to foreigners.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Rotimi Ajayi, former regional editor, North Vanguard Media Limited. Thanks for sharing your thought with us this morning.
Thank you so much, I appreciate it. Thank you, Afis, and thank you, everybody in this studio.
All right, that's all we can take on Today in the News this morning. Also, remember that you can equally like, share, and subscribe on all our social media platforms showing on your screen. To find up-to-date stories, go to our website, www.vanguardindia.com, to find out more. I am Precious Chukudi, and thank you for watching.